back to the At White podcast. Viewers that have watched it previously, I know we were on a bit of a hiatus, but we've got a guest co-host. Dre's out under the weather, but in the meantime, we've got my friend, animator, filmmaker, just down the clown leftist, Paul. How's it going, Paul?
What's up? What's good?
Yeah. I know off mic we were talking about a short you're working on. We can get to that later, and the production company and the guys you're working with and the stuff you've done.
Yeah.
But just in general, just to start out, how have you been? You know?
I've been all right. I've been chipping away at life,
Yeah.
Things have been kind of tough with the industry and everything, but I'm getting by. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel that. Like, I didn't even start with the intro that we usually start with because, like, this is the third episode we're still figuring out. I mean, it's definitely a podcast about art within the leftist context, and like art in terms of its practice versus the industries. And I mean, I wouldn't mind it branching out into other art forms, but me and Dre are animators. You and I are animators.
Yeah.
The one guest we've had, Andrea, is also an animator, and animation's going through right now, as you can see from the stream. Yeah, so Paul, I don't know if you've seen this Animation Guild short that came out recently.
No, I haven't.
So it's fresh off of Cartoon Brew reporting on it. Amidi wrote about it. One of the head editors at Cartoon Brew, talking about John Lasseter's big week plus the Cartoon Network dead. So, I mean, they love a good salacious headline at Cartoon Brew. That's for all of its.
Gotta get those picks,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for viewers at home and those that are familiar with animation, for all the faults that Cartoon Brew has, I mean, they still covering stories that matter. So
yeah,
we're here. So it reads: Cartoon Brew's new live stream show airs on Friday mornings on our YouTube channel, which I didn't know they had, but go check it out. Apparently, there's a YouTube channel.
Know about that.
Yeah, me neither. On today's episode, we're talking about the biggest story in Hollywood this year: the merger of Paramount and Skydance. More mergers.
I didn't know about that. I don't know.
Yeah. How does that make you feel, just in general?
I don't know, because like Skydance like put out a lot of cool, like not like indie, but like more like I guess you could kind of say like artistically subversive stuff. They did that Oni, I think like series on Netflix. Do you know about that?
I've never seen some stuff for that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know. That seems pretty cool, but like Paramount, I don't know. I'm a little bit skeptical about like, because I feel like Paramount is kind of just like a corporate entity, and they're just taking whatever. That's like if like I don't know, some other like Columbia Pictures or something, or like Sony took over A24. It's like, oh, I kind of like A24. They're very artistically inclined, and then they get taken over by some big corporate company. I don't know.
Yeah. It just reeks of the Discovery Turner Broadcasting merger.
Yeah.
It's giving me deja vu in ways that piss me off, like just inherently. Because as we'll talk about probably later in the pod, there's rumblings happening in the Animation Guild about negotiations, videos about surveys that need to be taken. If you're in the guild and you're watching this, please take a fucking survey. But we'll get into all of the sort of factors that go into that. But yeah, there's a lot of just unfortunate and unnecessary destabilization in the industry. I mean,
Mm.
you and I have both worked at major studios,
Yep.
and we're at a point like a lot of people where we're just doing our own thing. You know, we're figuring stuff out, and like,
yeah, just waiting.
Yeah.
So for something to happen, basically.
Yeah. Whatever that is, stay tuned to find out, I guess.
Yeah.
Because I mean, I think striking and actually having more protections against things like, you know, hot button topic, everyone's ears, AI, and also just wages in general, which is going to be affected by how executives feel about AI, etc. So, you know, but we'll get into that. But
I think the AI thing, like, I feel like it's kind of like what happened with the peak of NFTs and stuff.
yeah,
I don't know if you follow like Linus Tech Tips. I don't really follow him much, but he made a video about AI and the whole hype around it. And it was kind of like, it was very reminiscent of this one YouTube essay about like, I think it was called like Folding Theories. And he talked about like the line going up, like how the blockchain and NFTs, like that whole hype is kind of like it's not as like altruistic as it might seem. You know, it's like it's not even like being used in the intended usage, right? And that Linus Tech Tips video kind of reminded me of that, because it's like, oh, it seems like the cat's out of the bag now, you know, like everyone's finding out that every application of AI is just like all hype.
Yeah, is this
I think that one's cutting
Yeah,
through the hype. Yeah, it's that video.
Yeah.
And he
So
talks about it. And I've been seeing more videos that are like very reminiscent, or like talking about things like very similar to that, right? So yeah, I think everything's gonna fall apart soon when it comes to AI. Think the hype's gonna die out soon.
yeah, I mean, we're seeing a little of that hype bust already with the performance on Google AI search engine add-ons that really just spew the most nonsensical misinformation, just like cartoonish level misinformation, like, oh, you can eat 3 rocks a day type stuff.
Yeah.
According to this Cartoon Brew article, they're talking about a lot of things, but it's specifically the death of Cartoon Network's physical headquarters. As some viewers may know, I previously worked at Cartoon Network for like the smallest stint you could possibly work at a studio, like 5 weeks. But yeah, I remember hearing about the studio fully just shutting down its physical headquarters or its physical location. So the rest of the article reads, we're also taking a look at the recent hashtag Rip Cartoon Network hashtag and talking about what it means when people say Cartoon Network is dead. Watch today's episode, etc., etc. Okay, so it's more about their episode than it is about the actual information. But yeah, I mean, there's actually an article about the Paramount merger we could get into. But going back to Cartoon Network, I mean, I'm sure I can find hashtags for this, but like, my time there was so short. And I mean, as someone who's also worked during lockdown, the pandemic, I think the one thing that I struggled with that you could probably relate to is that I felt honored to be working there, right? There's a lot of like clout with the name. There's a lot of like respect and etc. But also, I felt like I missed out on what the job would actually feel like because I wasn't at the actual physical location.
Oh yeah,
you know.
Yeah. No, definitely. I felt the same way. I was working at a studio that was like out in Montreal, but I was working remotely, and like I would say like the studio environment or like the team environment and everything was great. It was amazing. I love my team. I love all of my coworkers and everything. The project was fine too, but like I didn't feel like the same kind of connection, you know, just because like I had started that project like working from home, you know, and it was like, oh, this isn't like I understand that this is like a cool team and like things are like somewhat lenient when it comes to deadlines and whatnot.
Mm,
Um, but I still didn't like feel it as much as like my previous job, because with my previous job I did get to work in studio and like
mm.
with people, and I did feel like there was like more of a connection just from that.
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah,
it makes a difference.
it
Like
does.
actually being around people physically and having that sense of camaraderie, like it really does make a difference.
Hmm.
So yeah, like I totally get it. But let's take a look at some of these because I didn't even know it was a hashtag. But yeah, I'm gonna share. I'm gonna go back and share the screen again, and we could take a look at some of these. Let's see. So yeah, we've got Rip Cartoon Network. This is from Animation Workers United, which we'll probably go back to later because of those survey videos. But yeah, it's that's kind of the vibe. It reads Cartoon Network is dead? Question mark. Spread the word about what's at stake for animation. Post about your favorite Cartoon Network shows using hashtag Cartoon Network. Active members of TAC can help by filling out our survey. Today, July 8th, is the last day. Is today? No, it was yesterday.
Today's July 12th, so
Yeah,
salute.
it is. Right. Yeah, this is outdated news. It's not even yesterday.
Yeah.
It's like a couple days ago. But yeah, that's kind of the state of things. There's some other ones that read Red Cartoon Network started with this. The video goes on to explain how animation demand has skyrocketed, yet animators lost their jobs. Rumors that Cartoon Network is shutting down are false, although the studio does seem to be in decline. Yeah. Um,
What are they even producing anymore? I could have sworn that they did. I thought that they did shut down.
that's what it feels like, right?
I thought it was
Because
just Adult Swim was like the only thing like left from like the two of them, Cartoon Network and Adult. I swear
I
Cartoon
can
Network.
fact check that. I can fact check that. Let's see.
This feels like a Mandela effect situation because I could have sworn I heard that they were shut down, but I guess maybe like the building was still intact or something.
Yeah. Oh God! Of course, I get an AI generated answer before I get the real one. Okay, I'm going on to a Reddit. Um, Instead, let's see if I can switch the what's being sharing. Okay, stop sharing, and then I can go into. Let's see. Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Okay, so I found this Reddit. Okay, so why did Cartoon Network stop making new cartoon series? Sure. I've noticed that Cartoon Network hasn't released new cartoons for years as frequently as they did before. What happened? Did they run out of ideas? It's like when regular show Steven Universe and Adventure Time ended, Cartoon Network didn't release anything as popular again and stopped production. Now it only releases series that derive from others. Okay, this was from 3 months ago.
That's not that long ago.
Not that long ago, but it feels like they're kind of missing the point here with this question a little bit because I was kind of wondering if I guess goes to show me what going to Reddit can do for fact checking. But let's see. Cartoon Network shutting down. This is from MovieWeb. So why is Cartoon Network trending and is it really shutting down? This is from MovieWeb. Shout out MovieWeb. Of course, we put all the sources that we're using in the show notes later. But the article reads Cartoon Network, founded in 1992, is a cherished cable channel for many audiences who grew up with it. Iconic TV shows like Adventure Time, Ben 10, and Courage the Cowardly Dog occupying many childhood memories. Even though the network has changed over the years, the quality of some of its programming has stood the test of time. A rumor regarding the shutdown of Cartoon Network has been spreading on social media platforms such as X, causing many fans to be concerned. It's reasonable, given how many people still turn to Cartoon Network for nostalgia and new TV series. But is the studio actually shutting down? If not, how did the rumor begin to spread? Okay, Cartoon Network is not shutting down, according to MovieWeb. Let's see. If you open the X app on your phone, chances are you will find Rip Cartoon Network hashtag trending with over 100,000 posts. The surprising trend gained popularity after a handle named Animation Workers United posted a video capturing Cartoon Network is Cartoon Network dead? Or Cartoon Network is dead? Question mark. Eventually, the video went viral, and people began sharing it more and more, leading to speculation that Cartoon Network might shut down soon. Following a similar rumor from the past in October 2022, which resurfaced on social media, fans of the cable channel have reached the same conclusion. The video posted by Animation Workers United discusses the following. Cartoon Network is essentially dead, and other big animation studios are not far behind. When COVID first hit, animation was able to operate completely remotely, making it one of the few forms of entertainment that could continue production uninterrupted. But studios decided to pay them back by canceling projects, outsourcing jobs, and laying off artists in mass. The video explains how this might lead to the studio's indefinite shutdown. However, the preceding news of Cartoon Network's merger with Warner Brothers Animation also significantly affected the current trend. Back in 2022, Cartoon Network agreed to merge with its sister studio, Warner Brothers Animation, prompting fans to fear it was shutting down permanently after becoming part of Warner Brothers. This is from the tweet, 2022, y'all were not dead, we're just turning 30.
Okay, I think that's what it was.
Yeah.
It was this merger.
Yeah, and like, I mean, they did tear off the Cartoon Network sign from the physical studio, so I don't think they're actually using that space anymore.
Okay.
Yeah. Someone apparently was on sale and shit.
Oh my god.
Yeah. I wonder how much it was going for.
Man, I wish I was a Saudi prince and then I could just like buy the studio and just like revitalize that. Because like Cartoon Network was also like international. They had it everywhere. It was in like several different countries and stuff.
Yeah. I remember I went to Africa with my family once.
Mm-hmm.
And I was watching Cartoon Network there too.
Yeah. They have a Cartoon Network in like India, I think Japan, I think the Philippines as well. Like so many different countries. A lot of places in South America as well. Here too, even if it's not the network itself, like just the projects, like like Grim Adventures, Billy and Mandy, Dexter's Lab, all those, they were played everywhere. My dad likes to make fun of my hair. He's like, "You just want to look like Johnny Bravo." He'll say something like that because he still remembers that,
Wow.
And he was an adult, so
right.
Something,
Yeah, I made it.
Even he remembers it.
Exactly. Well, yeah. I mean, it really has made a huge impact. So
yeah.
It would be scary to see it go like that. All right. So the article goes on to say, in response to the old rumor, Cartoon Network Studios assured fans that they were not going anywhere and would continue to entertain them with innovative cartoons in the future. I mean, to speak to this, Craig Creek still has I think they have a spin-off series now. I actually worked on one of them called Justice League Little World, and that was it was a whole thing. Hopefully it gets a season 2. We'll see. It's a pre-K show, so chances are it could, but I don't know how hiring would go with that because it's at least for me, I was only on for one episode, and then that was it.
You were a storyboard artist, right?
Yeah. I went from being a revisionist to a storyboard artist.
That's so weird that they don't have So actually, I'm kind of curious about that too because generally speaking, even other storyboard artists that I know or revisionists usually for a project they don't have people on for one episode or something. They don't usually have people freelance they do, but even the most freelance is probably 1 or 2 months or something, but for the most part, most people that I know, their contracts last between 6 months to a year, 2 years, however long. So yeah, that's kind of weird that your project that project was only for one episode that you had.
Yeah, it felt like nothing.
Yeah,
because the last job I had was at Nickelodeon for Santiago of the Seas, and that was 6 months. That was a proper contract.
Okay, yeah. Oh, so I'm guessing like that was like like the later project then. The short.
Yeah, yeah, that was so. It really was a sign to me that like contracts are getting worse out here, at
Yeah.
least in the
I see.
States.
Okay.
You know,
Yeah.
and like people that I know that were fully staffed at Nickelodeon are working at toy stores now. They're working not toy stores. They're working at toy companies now, just like toys and shit
Yeah.
like that. And that's like a
Mhm.
trend now. Like it's either toys or children's books. So people are pivoting to, which is so wild. Like we spent thousands of dollars going to school to do this shit,
Yeah.
and now you want to make toys because the thing that really annoys me is that people don't want to have like a radical imagination for what this industry could be. They're too busy
Mhm.
looking out for themselves, which is valid to a certain degree. You have to do that, but also you can do that while also supporting someone around you or even below you,
Mhm.
probably even above you if you want to be like that. But like, it's part of the reason why the stuff that you're doing with the production with the
Mhm.
little studio you have is exciting to me because that's
Yeah.
the thing that people should be doing more.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, we can talk about that when we're done with this article here.
Sure.
Um, so yeah, let's see. It goes on to say, yeah, in response to the rumors, it's not true, and would continue to entertain them with innovative future, with animated cartoons in the future. While this declaration from the official organization reassured fans at the time, many people are still concerned that it may shut down. So will Cartoon Network withstand the sudden changes in the industry despite its merger with Warner Brothers? Let's see. Can Cartoon Network survive the changing industry? Certainly, COVID and subsequent issues in the industry have affected numerous studios, even leading to the collapse of a handful, notably Disney's Blue Sky, which, yeah, I remember that
Yeah,
distinctly.
that was really intense when that happened. It was
Because
crazy.
didn't they make fucking Ice Age?
They made Ice Age. Yeah, they made like there was like 4 or 5 Ice Age movies. They had so much money. I think they also
Right.
the last movie they made was like Spies in Disguise, that Will Smith movie.
I heard
Um,
it didn't. I don't know if it did well, though.
See, okay, but see, that's the crazy thing too. It's like with all of these, the same thing has been happening in the video game industry too. It's like this
Yeah.
thing where it's like, oh, we didn't make as much money as last year, so let's just lay everybody off. And it's like so insane. It's like,
It's an excuse. Yeah. It's an
yeah, it
austerity
feels like it.
excuse.
It feels like a bad excuse. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah. They're just doing it to make sure that executives can still make an exorbitant amount of money. But
Yeah.
how can they do? But they're working around how to like keep that kind of income
Hmm.
while also still operating as a studio. Because at that point, like you can't just like fire everyone. You gotta fire like most people and then keep
Yeah.
like your favorite, workhorses around. And truly, people work in this industry like workhorses. You and I both know this.
Yeah. I think
Like,
I think that's also a fight thing too, though. Like
hmm,
because no one wants to lose their job. Like
yeah,
no one wants to find out that like the company that they've put so much time and effort into and like emotional stake into, like that is just shutting down.
yeah,
So I feel like a part of that is just like, okay, well maybe we could just downsize to like nothing. Can you like please just like do anything to not kill us, please.
right,
And I think it's like and I'll come back to it in a second, but it kind of reminds me of this thing that I realized, like I was looking at like different like record labels.
hmm,
And this happens a lot like with rap music. Like there's a lot of these like different subsidiaries. And you're like, oh, what is Cactus Jack or this label or that label or like Boominati, whatever. And they're all subsidiaries of like 3 major companies.
hmm,
And like those companies just own everything, like every single piece of music ever put out, every noise, you know what I mean?
right,
And
right,
it's like whoever, you think, and that's what I'm saying, like Blue Sky is just a subsidiary of one company that's a
yeah,
subsidiary of another company.
yeah,
So that bigger company is probably like, this branch is like kind of dead, so I don't care about it anymore. But
yeah,
that branch has like like several thousand people that are employed, you know.
hmm, Mhm.
But then they're like, whatever. I kind of want another yacht or whatever reason,
Exactly. It's
you
on
know?
some fucking Succession shit where like someone out in like Manhattan's like stressing over numbers not working well so that they can go on another vacation to Mykonos or some
Yeah,
shit. You
yeah,
know, it's so demented. But that's just
yeah.
like, and we can get into this at some point later on, but like animation isn't the only subsect of entertainment that's going through this through austerity. Like it's
Mhm,
happening with film, it's happening with television, live action,
mhm.
it's happening. I mean, I've heard people in Goldman Sachs losing their jobs. I feel like we're in this era right now where austerity measures, lack of or cutting public funding and public welfare programs, um, not taxing the rich
Yeah.
and overtaxing middle class and poor people, destabilizing the job market, and raising interest rates are what are pushing people more to the right as well politically,
Hmm.
as well as like kind of putting people in desperate places. Desperation will do that, you know.
Right.
I feel like I always tell people this, but I learned about this a little bit while reading Clary Mattei's Capital Order. Um, it's how economists invented austerity and paved the way to fascism. And I mean, it would be a amazing opportunity to get around the pod at that point. I know it's like super out of the realm of possibility, but given that animation is one of many industries going through austerity
Yeah.
bullshit, who knows?
Mhm.
But yeah, going back to what you were saying, yeah, that's exactly what these executives are doing. They're just finding excuses to make sure they survive the bullshit happening from the Fed, kind of the trickle down
Mhm.
chaos from the Fed.
Well,
And
honestly, oh, sorry. Go ahead. Go ahead.
no, that was pretty much it.
No, I was just gonna say, like, I think it's also like a reasoning for that, like that they want to cover their backs in a sense. Is like it's not like they're gonna like go homeless or be hungry or anything like that from like cutting these people. It's because like I think if you're like in such a high position of power, at some point like you just lack a certain sense of empathy, especially like if you've like never been poor in your whole
Yeah,
life, or like
yeah,
you've never like struggled financially, you
yeah.
know, then you just don't really, you're just like, people will figure it out. There's so many ways to like get rich these days or do this or that, just get on your grind set, whatever, and there's so many different like preachings of Sigma grind set and this and that. And not even just that, there's other forms of like, I, I don't know if this is too much, but even religion is a little bit like that too, of
Mm-hmm.
just like, there's always a way out, but sometimes it's like, man, like the systems are holding me back, like the systems
Mm.
in place are just like holding people down. I don't know if it's 100% just on me.
Right, right. That sort of Protestant Christian notion of earning a space in heaven via Calvinism, you know?
Yeah.
So that's like baked into American society in general.
Yeah, it
And
is.
so, by
Yes.
proxy, because America has the world at gunpoint, it's this is the
Exactly.
way that Western society operates in general.
Yeah. And it's so influential too. Oh my God. Like you wouldn't believe how many people like that I've talked to or that I know like want to come to like North America or they have dreams about like North American society. Even like British people, like they have like maybe like a third of the number of people that they have in America. But even still, it's like, don't you have your own culture? Why don't you like why do you want to be so American so bad? Not trying to like throw shade or anything at that, but like it's like you have your own like thing, your own culture. Why do you have to like I don't know like I don't know. I still I feel like I'm like just it's because they're like indoctrinated in a sense, like that's
Yeah,
what
yeah.
American culture kind of does. It indoctrinates people.
It's a colonialist sort of brainwashing through
Yeah.
distraction and occupation, and it's
Mhm.
it's usually that sort of desire to be in the belly of the beast is like a coping slash like defense mechanism. It's like if I'm closer to it, I won't get the sharp end of the sword.
Yeah.
I'll be behind the scabbard. You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, that's true. That
So
I think that is a big thing actually. That's very true. I think most people, like, who can even see that things are not doing well, are going to have that mentality.
Yeah.
They're going to be like, well, I don't want to get caught, so I'm just going to, you know, um, double down, on
Yeah.
this system.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. It's grim. It's grim.
It
Almost
is.
as grim as the Grim Reaper and Adventures of Billy and Mandy. What? I knew I hated that segue, but
No,
it
I
happens.
get it. I feel like we're going down a deep dark route.
Yeah, I mean that's the kind of space that we allow over at here at Y. But
Yeah.
you know, so getting back to it with Blue Sky,
Hmm.
the article goes on to read even large enterprises such as Warner Brothers uh, and Cartoon Network have seen enormous changes in recent years. While the merger occurred in 2022, it will likely have long-term consequences for both studios. According to Collider, the acquisition happened in the face of major layoffs at Warner Brothers. Television group WBTVG, which included 82 scripted, unscripted, and animated employees, accounting for 26% of the company's staff. This sudden development by Cartoon Network was termed a strategic realignment to ensure a greater output of programs, as both studios would be using the same resources, unlike before. Let me just plot through the rest of this. Even though Cartoon Network has merged with WBA, they will continue to operate as independent labels led by Sam Register, president of three labels: Cartoon Network, Warner Brothers, and Hanna-Barbera Studios in Europe.
Yeah. See, that's like what I was saying, right? They're just subsidiaries,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, man. Um, Everything stated in the video shared by Animation Workers Ignited makes sense. Given the industry's rapid changes. To address these issues, Cartoon Network must avoid making the same mistakes that led several studios to bankruptcy. Fortunately, its merger with Warner Brothers Animation has already resolved some of its problems. We'll see for now. And Cartoon Network has seen its fair share of ups and downs. In 2023, the channel was 76th the most popular channel, averaging 146,000 viewers during primetime hours, a decline of 19% from the year before, according to Variety. With more scheduled programs like Go Go Mystery Machine, which I don't know if you've seen that shit on Instagram, but
I don't know.
we could talk about it later. I can bring it up.
Is it
It's weird. Anyway, I mean, it's like Velma. Like they're really trying with the Scooby Doo franchise. Like, I mean,
yeah,
they milk it like TMNT. It's like the first IP of its kind, really, in
yeah,
animation, where like they just kept milking. They keep milking it,
yeah,
and now that udder is like wilted and
yeah.
fucking dry. It's like,
Dry as hell.
oh my god,
Peanut dust. Yeah,
it's powder. They're
yeah,
trying to milk powder.
yeah. I can't drink this. Can't feed this animal.
Yeah. What is this? Ovaltine?
Yeah, honestly, it's like the oh god.
Yeah. So anyway, with more scheduled programs like Go Go Mystery Machine, Barney's World, and The Amazing World of Gumball, the series, it seems as though Cartoon Network is on the right track, but based on the output they have delivered over the last 2 years, it is also clear that the studio has been caught up with a few unfortunate chains of events. Due to some short-lived initiatives to ensure Warner Brothers saves money amid the industry's economic slump, Cartoon Network is running out of original content.
Hmm.
Someone
Hmm.
could have warned them about that, but they had to find out the hard way, I guess.
Yep.
Uh, but since the show reruns have proven to be a favorite, it's clinging to its viewership. In other words, Cartoon Network can endure for a time despite the industry's rapid changes, but if we're talking about its future, Warner Brothers must make some substantial changes to ensure that consumers who have switched to streaming platforms like Max and YouTube return to the channel. That's where it ends. Yeah, yeah. Shout out to who wrote this? Shout out to Hanumanth Reddy, published 2 days ago. We'll put his article in the show notes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, how do you feel at the end of this?
I don't know. It's so. I think there needs to be like some kind of like revitalization.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, I think it's already happening because lately I've been seeing a lot more like recommended videos on YouTube, especially like of just like all these like different shorts and stuff that independent people have been making. Man,
Yeah.
it is like insane some of the stuff that like um that people make just out of passion, you know. And I feel like we need to. I don't know if those people have Patreons or something to be
Right.
making some of these things. I hope they do.
Yeah.
You know, I hope those people are getting paid to in some way to be making some of like the crazy amazing stuff that like gets put out these days. Like I see like a lot of pilots and stuff
Yeah.
on YouTube, and I'm just like, I've never heard of this. There's no, I don't know, there's not a second follow-up video or anything like that, and it might have like 100K views or something, and I'm like, this is like really good. They should have like 1 million or something, or this is like good enough to be its own show or something, you know?
Right.
Yeah. I don't know.
So it's almost like if they got support that so many white guys in the 90s got just for like napkin scrawlings, you know, they could be employing so many more people and keeping the industry alive, right?
Yeah.
But because they want to have what was the word they used? What was the term they used? Strategic realignments.
Yep.
Just realigning the people so that I can get in line at Disney World for a fucking Star Wars hotel, you know?
Oh, man. When is Mickey Mouse done? Like, when is he out for the public? Is that soon?
In public domain?
Yeah.
I believe it already happened, actually.
It's ready? Oh,
I
man.
think so. Yeah, I think that Mickey Mouse just dropped. I think that new Mickey Mouse just
That
dropped.
new Mickey Mouse, yeah. there's gonna be some crazy stuff.
Yeah, let's see.
I remember hearing about it that it was coming out soon. That like the domain.
Yeah.
I don't know if like there's no way like Disney can't have enough money to like to bring it back. They could, but I don't know. Like they might lobby something. You know, they're like, no, you can't touch Mickey Mouse. You can't. Don't do that to him.
Those fucking bigots. Those fucking, because like the things that I would do with Mickey Mouse, the things that I would do with Mickey, because he's a minstrel character. He's basically black, right?
Yeah.
Like he's like our Clarence Thomas, you know. He's done too many fucked up things, but he's still a part of the community, whether we like it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Which I don't know. I mean, some people's mileage may vary. Because personally, he's not a part of my community, right?
Yeah.
But like, he's definitely not white.
Mm-hmm.
That's the thing. But honestly, I think more excitingly, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit.
Oh, people forgot about him. That was the one.
Oswald.
Oh, man, that was the one that started all of this.
Yeah, because remember, for those who've taken an animation history class, you'll remember that Disney famously worked with iWorks in the nascent stages of Disney, and long story short, financially screwed him over with the rights for Oswald the Lucky Rabbit.
Yeah. Got taken away.
So yeah.
And he was so upset by that he was just like, I am never ever gonna let any IP get away from me ever again.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And then he patented it. He patented like everything.
Man.
Especially Mickey Mouse.
I feel like I would take years. Like it would be like my life's work to figure out how to adapt to create a even adequate Oswald the Lucky Rabbit story. Because he's like one of those like totems of American folklore / history / the zeitgeist that are just in all of our subconsciousness, really, if you think about it. Because like it's a classic story of American chauvinism and corporate fuckery. A classic example of cultural appropriation. I mean, also, you got to give it to my boy. He doesn't have the menstrual gloves, at least in this picture. But I don't think he's ever had the menstrual gloves, actually. Let's see. There's even a bar. There's a fucking Open Mike Eagle bar.
Really?
Actually, no, it's not Open Mike, but it's like in one of his albums.
Mm-hmm.
Talking, I'll find the lyric later, but like talking about Oswald the Lucky Rabbit. Let's see.
That's colored, so that's probably
that's a good original.
Man, are all these characters? I was hearing about it. Are like a lot of these characters like, are they all minstrel? Like,
oh yeah, I mean the ones with the gloves that are like doing like Cab Calloway like moves, and yeah, that's like where they got the reference to do the animations from at the time. Yeah. It's like they were looking at watching minstrel shows like everyone else, watching like variety shows, and then taking inspiration from them, basically appropriating that culture, especially from Black creators who were actually doing like live performances that weren't fucking clearly blackface or like some racist caricature.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Felix the Cat, Mickey Mouse. Who else? Well, like everything from like Disney, pretty much.
Yeah.
Well, like all these cartoons.
Exactly. So the album's called The Tape Call Component System with Auto Reverse. Check it out. On Bandcamp, I'll put it in the show notes. But there's a song with, I think it's called Multi Arcade Cabinet, featuring Rap Fiera and Video Dave, I believe. Let me see. Yeah. Okay. So, let me look at the lyrics for this. Okay, here we go. Verse 4. Just learn to fly. 1, 2, yeah. I went through the back door like Oswald. My code name was Afro Scofflaw. My grandma was half asshole, half Choctaw. We connected like Black Bolt and Lockjaw.
Wow. You did it.
I think about that bar at least like once a month.
All these connections, all these references.
Yeah. So going back to all the mess. Well, okay, we finished the article. Let's talk more about you though.
Yeah.
So you've been, maybe we can get into the whole, maybe a little bit of your backstory too. Like, how did you get interested in animation? What piqued your interest? Like, what project, or was it a person in your life? How did that start?
Well, I mean, if we're going back like all the way, it might be back from like when I was a little kid, and my dad used to work like at an electronics shop, and like in our tiny like 2-bedroom apartment, people at his shop would just would be like, oh, this TV doesn't work, I don't want it anymore. So then he'd be like, okay, yeah, sure, and then he'd just take them home. So we had like 3 small TVs in our like 2-bedroom apartment. So I got to watch a lot of TV as a kid.
Nice. Yeah, a lot of them. Shit, yeah.
Yeah, so I think it probably started from there. And so like I didn't have like too many like video games or anything growing up. So I would just like draw a lot, watch TV. That's what I would do for my pastime. And then when I graduated from high school, I mean, you know, my parents, they're immigrant parents, so like they're like, oh, you gotta do something like productive and something that will get you like some good money, you know.
Yeah.
So then I went into accounting after high school, and I did that for like 6 months, like less than a year. I got like, I think probably by the 2-month mark, I was like, I don't belong here, you know. And I was just trying to figure out like my game plan of how to get out. And then by the time the second semester rolled around, I was like, okay, I think I'm going to do animation, because like I knew that I liked art and I like to draw and I like, you know, storytelling and things like that. So I was like, yeah, I decided on that. I found a program, I went to Seneca College, which has a great animation program here in Toronto. Um, yeah, so yeah, I told my parents about that. They're like, "That's terrible. That's a horrible, disappointing thing. You know, don't tell anyone about this." And so then I did it. I quietly got through school, and then I was able to find work. I got a job after that. And they're like, "Okay, now you can tell people. At least you know."
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
You know, it's like,
Yeah.
well, they didn't see the process. You know, they didn't believe it.
Mm,
But I showed
mm.
them. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Have you listened to Ethically Ambiguous? It was this iHeartRadio pod that
no, I haven't.
was so a lot of the guests. It was shout out Shireen, Lana Eunice, and Anna Hosnia. They were two uh, amazing podcast hosts, and each episode they would have like a different guest who is like an artist, creator, usually first generation, and it was like a lot of hearing a lot of the same story of like, oh, my parents wanted me to be a doctor, lawyer, accountant, I mean, architects, but
Mhm.
like, you know, you have to like hide the passion as well. Like, I'm actually writing a script kind of about that in a way, the more I think about it, because it's about a character who's doing one thing to appease his parents or to appease a parent, but then has a passion that he has to like hide and like would rather do. But we can talk about that off mic. But yeah, it's all to say that, you know, it's a very common story. I got
Yeah.
really lucky. My parents didn't really care that I wanted to do animation from the jump. They were just like, follow your dreams. I think also they, I'm not an only child, so I
Mhm.
think they must have thought, well, we have more than one. I'm sure one of them can have a successful career doing something that makes enough money.
Yeah.
Um, yeah. So that's interesting. Seneca College, Toronto.
Mhm.
The TV story, I'm gonna think about that for a while because that's a visual. I
Yeah.
mean, that's the setup.
Yeah, that's something that like I think about sometimes. Like they're like really old, like small TVs. Like they're like this big, you know, like not like as big as like my head probably, you know, like
Yeah.
not very big. But we just had like some. We had one in each room, you know. Um, and yeah, it was like there was constantly something that I can entertain myself and like you know, I think uh I think my parents like them being immigrants and like not knowing too much about like I don't know like North American culture. They're like, don't go outside. You know, I didn't. They're scared of there's their fears get projected onto us. You know, I didn't have like I didn't do like extracurricular. Oh my god, man,
Oh.
I had this epiphany like a couple years ago.
Mm,
Or actually no, like maybe last year, 2 years ago. Um, uh, I knew some people that did like karate or like I don't know, they took swimming classes or something like that.
mm.
And when I was a kid, I was like, oh, that's white people shit, you know, like that's what I thought in my head, you know. But then I was like, oh, wait a second, like there's nothing wrong with that. That's actually very good and constructive for your children to be into that. But like my parents, they just didn't know any better. They're like, I didn't have a TV, I played with sticks, you know. So like just figure something out, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, so I don't know. That's something that I kind of realized is like,
Yeah.
oh, there's just like a different. You almost feel like everyone has the same kind of upbringing and everything. You know, like, oh, how different could my
Mm,
life be from any other person? You know, we grew up in the
mm,
same country, same city, whatever. You know, but then it's like,
mm.
oh, you know, the way that your parents raise you, it's it's different. You know, it varies, changes your perception.
It really does. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I ask where your parents are from?
Oh yeah, they're from India. They're
Okay.
from
Yeah.
like a small village.
Yeah. For sure.
Um,
For sure.
yeah, I think some people assume that because my parents are from like a specific part of India, that they come from like the city,
Mm.
or even like the way that they come off, that they might be from the city, but no, they're village people.
Wow. Yeah. Okay.
And yeah, their parents were farmers.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. Man. I mean, that's the kind of like my parents from Sierra Leone. They're
Okay.
both Creole, but my mom is like half Nigerian,
Mm-hmm.
and my grandpa was like, my mom's side was this kind of this con artist type guy who would like sell Bibles and shit.
Okay.
Like he's like a character, like a literal like character from a TV show. Anyway, but yeah, it's so that's the background. That's how you got in animation. Started
Yeah.
with those TVs. We're doing the right thing according to your parents, and then just
Yeah, I always had a passion for drawing, so
right.
that's where I ended up.
Yeah. So yeah, and then we talked off mic about some of the stuff you've been doing outside of the industry collaboratively with people. Do you mind telling people about the studio you have with your friends out there?
Yeah, for sure. So like it's just like a small independent thing. I wouldn't necessarily like even call it like a studio. It's just like a little, I guess, like group thing that me and a couple of college colleagues, like we get together and we put together some shorts every now and again.
Mm-hmm.
We also kind of started it because we were thinking about like applying to different programs and things like that. I think HBO Max used to have a creator program.
I remember that.
I don't know if it's still around or what. We applied to that for some of the projects that we had going on. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's called Super Nebula Productions. We have like 3 like very simple small shorts. Yeah, that one. Yeah, the one with the big guy.
Yeah.
The first one we started with was Zappy Halloween. So that character, we actually had another project that we wanted to put out. We started it like early on in our careers.
Mm-hmm.
But we haven't like we haven't like actually put together the pilot because we're like, oh man, we might want to like rehash it and stuff because we're also doing our own things and like learning new things, getting better at whatever we're doing. But yeah, if you want to show the
yeah. Let's play this short from Super Nebula Productions from our own pool. It's called Zappy Halloween. Let's take a look.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
Me and my friends, we like to talk about that sometimes. Like, it doesn't have like a crazy amount of views or anything, but like we have conversations about this constantly about like creating things, and like one thing that we always come back to, or we always say like, at least we really like Zappy Halloween for what it is, and like all the projects that we put out. Because that's a thing. It's like sometimes you feel like, oh, if I just like, I don't know, and not even to like knock people that do this type of thing, but like we're like, oh man, like we could just make like a funny Goku cartoon or like Super Mario or something, like something that like appeals to like a broader audience,
Yeah.
And it'll probably like gravitate more views, more attention, whatever, but like for the most part, like me and him, like we're still like very proud. Well, like me and like the 3 people that our group, like we talk about all the time, like oh yeah, like I'm super like happy with the way that this turned out, and like we took our time on this part or whatever, you know, like it's not perfect either, you know, it was only like three of us, and like we were still like kind of early in our like careers, but I don't know, like as long as like you have a sense of pride for your work, you kind of have to, I feel like you have to stand on whatever you're working on, you know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah, no, I
Yeah.
get that, and it looks great,
Yeah.
honestly. Like it really has that almost like Treehouse of Horror Simpson style
Yeah.
sense of humor, and it's fun. It's
Yeah.
good to just see people having fun making stuff. So
For
yeah,
sure. That's
um,
like a big part of like anything that I work on. It's like if I want to be influenced enough to follow through on it, I have to enjoy it, you know?
yeah, yeah, exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But yeah, so you got Super Nebula, and we talked off mic about something you're working on
Oh yeah.
in the future. If you'd want to get into that.
Yeah, sure. We're putting out another short. Not sure what the name is gonna be. Maybe it's gonna be called like Elon Baby. That's what all the naming convention is on all the files.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, it's a short about Elon Musk's baby and how he's a robot, pretty much. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
it's pretty funny. Same kind of style, very like cartoonish, slapstick. Um, yeah, it should be out pretty soon.
Keep a
Yeah, me and my
lookout.
friends, yeah, keep a lookout for that. Me
Yeah,
and my friends were trying to put out more stuff. I have another friend too. Um, if I could plug him too, like
please. Yeah.
he's also a friend that his channel's called Glorp the Comedian Monster. Like
Right, right.
he collaborates with us as well, and like we always go back and forth on like different ideas and stuff like that. Uh,
It's maybe
Look up
Oh, Glorp or Glorb?
Glorp.
Okay, Glorp. Yeah, I think it might be.
There you go. Yeah, this guy.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah, he's
no,
also a
it's
friend from school.
oh no, it's the mildly annoying zombies. Zombie. Now I gotta pick that up. Hey, come on, stop that. Oh
Yeah,
no.
this
Yeah.
this for me is my favorite of his as well.
Yeah.
But he's also pushing for this like short form independent content.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we like to collaborate with him. We like to talk a lot. His name's I don't know if I want to dox him. So
Yeah. 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 No,
Yeah.
don't.
But this guy, yeah, he's
Whatever.
pretty cool as well.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, also went to college together. But
Okay.
yeah, we want to make more stuff like this, and hopefully, like in the future, we can make more things in this vein. Just like stuff that's just more creatively driven, you know. And we're just trying to push towards that, I guess.
Yeah, and like that's
Stuff.
that's a thing that I'm optimistic about when it comes to the industry is this push from artists to start working together to
Mhm.
make things collectively outside of executive strategic realignments.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
Oh my god. I need to get oh my god. I need to get one of my friends on here too because we talk about this all the time. And this is also part of the reason why we even like came together to like make stuff in the first place.
yeah,
Is because like we talk about this stuff all the time. We're like we've been working for these companies. Sometimes we complain. We're like, man, like why is it that like the the way that like these projects are coordinated, there's never enough time, there's never enough money, everything is always over budget, over time. Like half the time, like the people on these projects like just barely care, they just want to like get their paycheck, feed their kids, whatever,
right, right,
they're kind of phoning it in a little bit, it's like why, and it's just like why do these projects even like get made like this, it's like if people are like not even fully invested in them sometimes,
exactly.
and we're just like, man, like we're passionate people, and we know the ins and outs. We see how like the pipeline, the production works and everything, you know.
Mm,
We can make our own thing, you know.
mm,
And we don't necessarily need like all the, I mean, like it'll help, you know,
yeah,
to be able to eat and whatnot, and to have shelter, you know, food, money, whatever. But like we don't need a lot to be able to like organize and like put things together, you know. We understand the pipeline of making things, you know,
yeah,
of making
yeah.
cartoons and whatnot. So it's
Mhm.
like, why not be able to like do things more independently, you know?
Why not? And
Yeah.
like, why? And really, like, it's such a shame that like studios have pushed artists to the brink and to this point. I'm sure there's still plenty of artists that will do anything to work at a Disney, do anything to work at a Cartoon Network,
Hmm.
etc. But for me personally, I've just gotten to a point with this industry where it's sucked the joy out of drawing for me. So the only way I can get it back is by working collectively. Like I'm currently working with some animation students and some other professionals out here in Vegas to start a collective as well. And so we just started. We just pinned down like a short we want to do. We're like meeting this weekend to talk about pipeline scheduling and everything else like that. So we're getting it underway, and like it's exciting to see that like there's some movement, and you know these people, they're in school, but like they already have a sense, they know what's up with the industry, they know how bad things are, and they're willing to actually like make something substantive that can last together.
Hmm.
And that's beautiful to see, because
Yeah.
like that's what it's going to take to survive in these like in this era of like fascistic austerity policies and strategic realignments. I can't get that shit out of my head. Like they really used the word strategic realignment to talk about tax fraud, to talk about like,
Yeah,
you
the most
know,
corporate like word that they can find, you know, just like, wow, what do we say to, you know, like not offend anyone?
right,
Yeah,
right, yeah.
just
Like they're
not say
playing fucking Dota or some shit. It's like this isn't a game.
it. Yeah.
God,
But
yeah,
like to go off of what you're saying too, like young people and students, like, oh, this is another conversation that I've had so many times. Is like when you're in school, like you have all of like the passion and drive to like make so much stuff, you know, like especially like people who are in like their last year of college or whatever, they're like, this is my thesis film, whatever, you know, I'm
yeah,
gonna spend as many all-nighters as I can, you know, to like put something together, you know, this is my magnum opus, you know,
yeah,
because like these people are so passionate and they're like talented too. Like
yeah,
it's crazy how many people, like how many young like juniors and stuff that I've seen in the industry that are like as good as like a senior or something, or like that they know how to like, you
yeah,
know, how they know several different skills, you know, they know how to like rig, character design, model, you know, animate, they know so many different things, you know.
yeah,
But they
yeah,
want to do it through the industry because, you know, of course, it's the easiest way. You know,
yeah,
you want to do it the way that like has the most clout, that gets the most attention, because eventually
yeah.
it'll help you. You know, it'll help
Right.
you in the long run. Oh
Yeah.
man, that's, and I'm going off another
No,
off of
let's
that too,
go.
because I was saying off of that cloud thing. There's this thing that I was talking about with another friend, and he was saying on that project that he worked on, he was like, "Oh my god!" Like all the people that were working on that project, they're like, "Oh my god!" You know, as soon as this is done, I don't care. I'm quitting. I don't care. I'm done with this. I'm not doing this anymore. You know, there's so much
Wow.
complaining, everything. You know, especially on on like every project I've worked on. There's always been like people complaining. You know, but
Yeah.
like especially this one, people were like, "Oh my god, after this I'm done. I don't care what people say about this like at all. I'm done with this. They can't
Mm,
keep treating me like this, you know." And then as
mm.
soon as the project comes out, you know, and it starts gaining attraction on LinkedIn, I'm so privileged and happy to be on this project.
It's a different song.
Yeah, it's
It's
a
the B track.
yeah, and I can't even like, I can't detract from, I can't blame them for that, you know, because
No,
it's like
yeah.
at the end of the day, you want to keep this ball rolling, you know, you want to
Yeah.
keep paying your bills.
And it's a rat nasty fucking industry, and so you get desperate so easily when you're put in a position. I mean, after Just a Big Little World, there was a lot of promotion happening online, and like I was approached by one of the creators to like he didn't outright tell me to put something on my socials, BD. He kind of made it seem like he wanted me to put something on my socials about the show. And I was like, I was on there for one fucking episode. You want me to like promote my one fucking episode that I worked on?
Yeah.
So I did. Because that's the polite thing to do. That's the professional thing to do, supposedly. But it's like the thing that like I want viewers to take from this more than anything is that these studios don't have your best interest in heart.
Mm-hmm.
It's the people. It's the people. At the end of the day, it's always been, always will be about the people.
Yeah,
that's what excites me about the projects you're working on with Space Nebula, the projects I'm working on with this collective that we're starting up, the projects I see on the internet that people are working on together. Is that it really is just people coming together. Like people forgot about the impact of that.
Yeah.
And it doesn't take much. It takes people that are passionate, people that are willing to like go for the long haul. Because also like I from the jump with this group was like, hey, this is gonna take a couple of years to finish this because I don't want us to burn out.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to burn a bunch of students out and then have a bunch of students telling me, oh man, like, why am I doing all of this and homework? You know? Like, because that's how I'd feel. I put myself pretty quickly in their shoes. Like if someone approached me that had already worked on a couple of things and then, was admittedly reaching like pretty much the end of their rope as a professional, and they're talking about, oh, let's finish a project in a couple months, I'd be like, excuse me? Like, what do you... I also have class. Like, I've got all this other stuff. So, like, I had to be realistic with it. Like, this is going to take years. So we're going to have a project that we're going to work years on. Someone mentioned in the group about possibly doing multiple projects at once, which is fine, but I feel like that's going to have pitfalls and everything else. So here's my question, right? In a world where industries are facing existential threats left and right, austerity policies, AI funding, AI funded by austerity policies, ecological crises, just rampant like deregularization in industry in general, from the top, from like power, like offices of power, right? Like, what does an industry in animation look like that's less abusive, that's less corrosive, where people aren't dying of like heart attacks or strokes or like sleeping underneath their desks, losing relationships, family, loved ones over something that isn't even that substantive? Like, people have probably been through some of the most harrowing things just for a Spider-Man Far From Home, or Spider-Man Far Away Home, Spider-Man Home Alone, Spider-Man Homeward Bound. Like, how many fucking Spider-Men do we need? Throwing people literally under desks.
How many people have to suffer for another Spider-Man reboot, whatever? I will say this too. Like, every project that looks amazing, that is like super popular, I'll say this: like, they people are taking advantage of. I'll say that. Just don't forget that.
Every single one
thing that you've seen.
Every single one. That's why I'm asking this question. I'm like, what is it gonna fucking take for people to stop making these schedules that are guaranteed to burn people out, guaranteed to like have people at the like last straw, physically, mentally, financially? Like, a passion for the craft can only get you so far when you're literally on the edge. So what is it going to take? And I think scheduling has a lot to do with it. I think, thinking about, I mean, God, if this country actually funded the arts, imagine if like even Canada, the United States, if there was more funding for the arts, it would save so many lives. And you get so many amazing pieces of art like I feel like I remember hearing in an animation history class about like how CBC had funding from the government and probably did it. What's the story behind that? Did the CBC like TV film? Did they have government funding or?
Oh, actually, you know what? Canada does have that. Well, Canada in general does have. I don't know about the UK, but
Mm.
I'm pretty sure the UK probably also has it too. France also has it as well. They
Right.
have subsidies, but see, I mean, there's a give and take with some of it as well.
Yeah.
Because I know in France, people have complained. Uh, I have some friends from France, and they were complaining that like they'll get like small projects, and then they
Mm.
get like laid off essentially. And I mean,
Mm.
they get it's it's fine because they'll have EI, like employment insurance, that's like given to them through the government. It's like, okay, yeah, like you worked on this project, now you're off for like 6 months or something. But
Mm.
it's like, I mean, it's not all of their pay, and it's also like I want to be doing something else with my time. Like I don't mind working, so that's why
Mm.
some people from France will move over to North America for work. Um,
Mm.
Sorry, but that being said, to answer your question, yeah, they do have. I was actually researching this too because I was I was hearing some stories from other people that even if you try to take a pay cut, so
Mm.
I'll give you an example. Like me, like I live like in the GTA, like in Toronto.
Mm.
If I want to move to BC, right? Uh, or like if I want to work for a company in BC, and they're like, sorry, we can't pay you that much, and also you're not in BC, so we can't we can't give tax benefits to this, or we can't get tax benefits from employing you,
Mm.
right? So I'm like, okay, what if I take a pay cut, right? What if I cut like, let's say my pay cut by like take out 30%, so I'm getting 70%,
Mm.
60%, then, like I'll take a big pay cut. Just please employ me. And they'll still say no. They'll still say no, because the government will give you 60% of your employee's income if they're a resident.
Mm.
So let's say I'm getting paid, yeah, like let's say I'm getting paid like 100K, right? They will pay 60K of my salary, the government. And that's like for I think that it's dependent on different provinces, but it's like that in BC, I'm pretty sure, and in Quebec as well. I don't know what the rate is in Toronto, but yeah, like a lot of a lot of provinces and even different countries have like subsidies uh,
Mm.
for these programs. But that being said, that's also why like projects kind of get outsourced from America. Like every creative project is like mostly American driven. They're from American production companies, but they get
Right.
outsourced to like Canada or France or the UK, whatever. And now they're being outsourced even more to like India, I think Indonesia,
Yeah.
Malaysia, like a lot of
Yeah.
East Asian countries.
Right.
Um, yeah, so that's also a part of it. And I know some people are a little bit frustrated by that as well,
Right.
from what I've been hearing. Um, I mean, to be honest, like I think everybody in this industry is still suffering.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's it really is hellish.
Yeah.
You know. It makes me wonder what like a leftist version of the industry would look like. If it was like all government funded,
Mm-hmm.
or if there was like subsidies that actually there were more regulations so that studios couldn't do like work with these loop arounds, these like loopholes.
Mm-hmm. Then there's going to be a complaint that because there's more subsidies
Mm.
now, they're like, well, since we're paying your bills, we get to tell you what you're going to put on TV or like what you're going to put out.
That's the thing.
I think that then that's gonna be an issue as well.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be an issue. Man, like what was it,
Mm-hmm.
like Norway or something? Did you hear about? There was this cartoon, and it's like a pre-K show, right?
Mm.
It's literally about like a man having a long penis, and it's a pre-K show. You can look it up, and it was like I think I saw it on Cartoon Brew, but it's like you're paying people to make that, you know, and I'm sure that it's government funded, you know, to some degree. There's definitely like subsidies that are put into the company that's making it. Um, but that's pretty crazy, you know. It's like there should be more autonomy like that. Not necessarily that specifically.
Right.
I don't know
Right.
much about it, but like they should give more autonomy to the creators.
Not like in that direction, like that sort of
Yeah.
Adult Swim. As I hate how like adult animation. I mean, that's not even adult; it's like pre-K, but like sort
Yeah.
of irreverent animation always veers to like the crude as opposed to the uh, well, anti-authoritarian. You know, like
Mm.
it rarely kind of veers in that sort of libertarian direction.
I just feel like a lot of that stuff like ends up they just try to be like Family Guy or something.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of like that sort of content, like adult animation, is always like some kind of derivative of like Rick and Morty or like Family Guy
Exactly.
or something. Not necessarily to like knock on all of them. Like
Yeah.
it's not like Family Guy was never good or anything, or like Rick and Morty was never good. Like those shows are cool, you know, but it's like there's not enough creativity in that space as well. So some Adult Swim shows are really like creative and crazy and amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think like especially what's on Netflix, man, I get so disappointed when I see something that's like, bro, who is watching this? Who is watching this?
Yeah. I mean, even like, not to be that guy, but I rewatched, what was it? Oh my god, I'm blanking on the name. Yeah, I'll look it up. It's some like sci-fi comedy, produced by Alex Hirsch.
Oh, I know which. Yeah, Deep Space, is that what it's called?
Not Deep Space. Let's see. It's like a Netflix show.
Oh, is it Inside Job?
Inside Job.
Yeah.
Oh my god. So I rewatched Inside Job for a little bit. I didn't finish the season again, or the second season. And it was like okay, but like I don't know. It just didn't really. I was mainly watching it as like white noise, unfortunately.
Yeah.
It just didn't really hit in a way where I went back to it because I actually liked the show. But yeah, I don't know.
I know what you mean. Like, I feel like I had a very similar opinion about it. I've talked about it with people. Like, it just felt like it felt very like mild, you know?
Yeah.
Like it's like on paper, it seemed like such a like interesting idea when I heard about it. I was like, wow, this has so much leeway for so much creativity and interesting ideas. And then like when I watched it, I was like, this is like very mid. like every idea is like very like there's nothing subversive about the show, even though it's like it has the aesthetic of being subversive, you know what I mean? But then it's just like it's about this woman in her 30s who's just has daddy issues, and it's just like it's not like that's not relatable or anything. Like it's an interesting idea, but it's like these two ideas don't correlate at all, and it just makes the whole thing mid. They don't go very far. They don't go very far with like the Inside Job portion of it, or how it's just like, oh, all these government conspiracies and stuff, you know?
Right.
And then like the show is just about like the mildly bad like interpersonal relationships between people and their personal problems, whatever, inner conflicts. It's like this writing's kind of bland.
No. Yeah. But I think that's why the indie space, the short film space is so exciting.
Yeah.
Maybe just to end off the pod, I'm thinking maybe we can show a short that you recommend and then show a short that I recommend.
Oh,
And
sure.
then we cap it off, talk about maybe plugs and everything else like that, and go from there. How's that sound?
That sounds pretty good. Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm on YouTube right here. I could just screen share.
Yeah.
Let me know what short you'd want to have us to watch.
Man, let me think. I've been watching a lot lately.
Mhm. I also should mention we're technically live on YouTube right now,
Oh,
but
okay.
since no one's watching, I'm just gonna like take it, put it into Final Cut, and then edit around it.
Yeah.
Or maybe I'll have a version on StreamYard. I haven't used StreamYard in a while. It's been a minute since we've done the pod.
Hmm. Man, what was I watching yesterday that I was like, this is amazing?
Mhm.
Oh, it was called Jimmy and Baby.
Jimmy and Baby.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see.
Well, this one isn't a short.
Oh, okay.
This
Is it
one's
like
like a full pilot.
Oh wow! It's like 20 minutes,
Yeah.
and it's all 8-bit. It's all like 8-bit.
Yeah.
Like that's wild.
It's crazy. It's amazing. I mean,
Wow.
I'm sure it
Okay.
doesn't. I'm sure it probably doesn't. Maybe it doesn't need the plug, but like, whatever, man. It's just amazing.
Yeah. Well, viewers can check it out. Jimmy and Baby. It's got like 42K views. Yeah. Let's see. Well, how about this? Maybe we can watch a short that I show a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
Just because like I think about this once a month. I think about this short. So this is Jonathan Joe Kundo's Little Taste of Joy. Let's check it out and see what we think. Also, you can hear the audio, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, so this is Jonathan Joe Kundo's Little Taste of Joy.
That was pretty crazy.
Right?
That had amazing like sound design, like music, like super fluid animation.
Right.
And this is independent.
2 animators, I think.
Oh man.
Maxine Junot and Jonathan Joe Kundo.
Crazy.
Sound design by Nicholas Snyder. Music by Jan Pierpenichwitz and Miran. I mean, that's probably butchered that. But yeah, I show that to people, and I mean, I remember the first time I watched it, I was admittedly smacked on sativa, but trust me when I say that, like, it felt like a synthesis not only of the artist's journey aesthetically, but also a synthesis of animation and its sort of troubled past with Black expression aesthetics in the diaspora in general. Because essentially it's a short about extractivist politics via the transatlantic slave trade of sugar.
Okay.
At least that's how I interpret it.
Yeah.
You know, especially with that last image of the ice cream cone.
I need to read up more on that. I don't know much about it, but
I mean, like that's the level to which I want to aspire to as an artist.
Yeah.
With animation, and it's gonna take time, but like that's just it's next level. Like it really is next level because it's not only the artistry that we were talking about, you were mentioning fluid animation, but also the actual thesis of it is profound. You know, we're talking about like the impact on sugar on a macro scale in like world economics. You know, through the pageantry, like the sort of goings and comings of like trade and pageantry and identity within a sort of circus act, if you will. You know,
that's That's awesome. Honestly, like I would 100% agree. Like that's also something that I like kind of strive for is exactly what you're saying. Like being able to like because I don't know too much about it, right? But if it's there, you know, then that's something that I can like look into, you know.
Right.
And I'd be interested in like, you know, doing a Google search, you know, looking through it, you know, doing my research, whatever about it, just so that I can like absorb more of that, like what it has to offer, you know, like what the short has to offer. And that's something that like I would want to produce in the work that I make, you know, is like just being able to like give some inkling of something that is like historically, culturally, economically like relevant to some degree, you know, and like infusing that to some, even just like in a small way, into whatever projects and things that I put out, you know.
Right.
So yeah. Very profound.
Very, very profound. But yeah, that's Joe the Job's Condos, Little Taste of Joy. So coming up, we got a short that Paul would recommend. So Paul, what do you gonna have us watch?
You know what? I actually have another thing that I was thinking of. And people may or may not have already seen this, but I just want to put it out there is Dragon Ball Z Legends.
Oh yeah.
Have you seen that?
Not Sarah. Let's see.
That one, the one by Agent Mystery.
Oh yeah, no, I've seen it.
You've seen it?
Yeah, but let's take a look at it again because it really, I went through a whole arc with this, with this sort of phenomenon, right? Because it's one of those things that we were talking about. It's like a fan animation. A lot of passion and time went into it. And maybe do you know any more about the creator and like how they've been doing since?
Yeah, so like I mean I've met the creator before because he actually was in the same program as me, like in college. He went through the same program. So like there's some people in my year who also knew him. But I've like had the opportunity to like talk to him, and like when we're talking about like people who are passionate, like I feel like that's like an amazing example of this, you know, of like someone who is just like who shows like his work is still, I don't know if it's actually still there, but like when I was in school, his work was still in like the cases and stuff, like on display, you know, because of like you could just like see that he was like a very passionate artist. He cared about like the things and the project that he worked, and like this thing, you know, is like just a testament to that, like a testament to his passion for art, illustration, animation, and of course Dragon Ball Z.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think that's like a pretty good like through line for like the conversations we had.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, let's check it out. So Stray Dog's own Legend of Dragon Ball Tale. Let's check it out.
Budget and time.
Let's see. Yeah, there we go. I think it might be longer because of the
credits.
The credits, yeah. But
I
let's.
think it's only like 7 minutes.
All right, cool. Let's take a look.
R.I.P. Akira Toriyama.
I mean, yeah. Wait, did he make this before or after?
This is before.
That's wild. That's wild to think about. That's wild.
My son, stay strong. Your crown is here, and your kingdom awaits your return.
Can you be?
Have we ever met?
Have we ever met?
If you don't mind, can you just tell me what I forgot so I can remember?
Unbelievable! And did you forget the promise you made me as well? You promised to marry me, Goku!
Goku.
Well, his life's over.
Is that all you can say for yourself?
The green light, the gold you fashion. It's not every day that a king leaves his throne, but for you, I make a royal exception. All my life I've trained for this one moment. For the pride of the Saiyans! For my family. And yes, even you, Kakarot. Saiyan legend, hear me! Today a god falls. Bones to dust. Ashes to the wind!
Yeah.
This shit's fucking hype.
Amazing. Design. Crazy.
Fucking wild. Yeah, it just got real.
Yeah.
Now, Kakarot! I remember. It's Chi-Chi, right?
Oh my god.
Kakarot. Stop calling me that. That name is your birthright. For you, just like I, are the legacy of a proud race of golden warriors. We are the keepers of the primal light. Your light is out of control and must be refined to be useful. Your days under the sun are numbered, Kakarot. So marry that woman while you still have the chance. And come with me. We have to prepare. For what? War.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I don't even have anything to say about it. I was just like, I was just enjoying it, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Awesome.
and it's like this is a pretty decent team too. Like it just goes to show when you get like enough people behind like a good cause and well, you know, just like something they're passionate about. Really makes a difference.
I think one thing I should also mention too, I think everyone that like worked on it was they volunteered to work on it, right? So I don't know. I don't think there was like any payment in this because it's the IP is, you know, it's licensed, so
Right.
they couldn't make any profit off it.
Yeah.
But like for legal reasons. But otherwise, like you could see that like that's why I'm saying like this is just like pure passion, you know, like
Yeah.
pure refined passion right there.
Mm.
So yeah.
Yeah.
I was gonna say the part where he like breaks Chi-Chi's arm is kind of like that meme that you see on Facebook where it's just like this guy slaps your girl on the butt. What do you do?
Oh my god.
That's what that
Wow.
reminded me of.
Just
Yeah,
wild.
Super
Yeah.
Saiyan. Yeah.
You go Super Saiyan. That's exactly what you do.
Hey,
All right. Well, Paul, it was great having you on the pod.
for sure.
Would you like to plug anything? Have any final thoughts?
No, not much else to say. Keep going, keep going. That's it.
Yeah, just keep at it, folks. You
Yeah.
know, like these are very trying times for animation and for art in general. But I think if anything, just the passion, keep that passion alive in whatever capacity works for you. You know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right. Well, this has been at Y. We'll see you, folks, whenever we see you.
Thanks for having me on, by the way.
Yeah, of course. Okay, thanks for coming on as a guest host. All right. Well,
All right.
take it easy.
Take it. See ya.